G'day guys, and welcome back to another episode of SimWorld. Today, episode 9, we're going to be covering off on a few things. So we're going to start with the ProTee VX with the GS Pro connector. We're going to discuss, this is going to be a pretty in-depth discussion, but Open API. There's been a lot of things with the Open API at the moment that Open API is a bit of a problem these days. Now that GS Pro is getting bigger, more people are using the Open API, more launch monitors. Open API is open to a lot of issues with people cheating. So Open API is something that, I mean, should it be allowed in SGT? I highly doubt Simulator Golf Tour is going to get rid of SGT because the Open API opens up the doors to so many launch monitors and a lot of revenue. So it's a massive question. Should Open API be allowed to use in Simulator Golf Tour tournaments? We're going to talk Unicore IM Mini. So I have been using the IM Mini now for the last week. I've been using it a fair bit. I've got some videos coming up on it. It's been going well. I have seen one wild misread and I got it on camera. So I don't know whether it's the tees, whether it's the, because I use the K2 golf tees. So I absolutely love these things, the K2 golf tees. I got the bag from Kevin, the custom bag and the tees, and I hit a forward off the really low #1 tee, and I don't know whether the actual unit picked up on the connector here. So there's a new, what I should say is there's a new connector. Oh, let me get the live chat up. Sorry, guys. There is a new connector for these tees, a new lanyard, I should say, that takes out this metal bit. And I think that's what the unit picked up on. So I can't blame the IM Mini. Well, you can blame the IM Mini because it doesn't happen with the ProTee, but I did have a misread. I got it on camera, so at least I can show you guys. All right, let me pop those back. And let me get this chat working. But yeah, it killed me. You'll see, it happened at the worst possible time for this misread to happen. It's always the way. But let me get this chat going. There's a couple of people coming in now, which is good. Different time, so that this was late. I do apologize. I've been quite busy, so I was quite late to get this live out there for people. I put it up last night, so I do apologize. I'll try and get them out there earlier to the community. It's just with life and work, it does get quite hard. Okay, so we've got Spike in the chat and we've got Thomas as well. Hello from Sweden. I mean, that is awesome. That's really cool. And we've got Herb in the chat as well. That's good to see. Following on, so we've got IM Mini talk and then we've got course of the week, which, spoiler, it's right behind me. And then Q&A. We'll just be doing Q&A through the whole thing. So get your questions in early. What I'd like to do is start getting some questions in. I need to be more organized, but in the Facebook group and the Discord, I put these out there. If you've got questions, get in early, put them in, because I've got the actual post up in front of me. So I do have this up in front of me the whole time. So if anyone comments, I try and stay on top of that. Jez is in the chat. That's good to see. There will be a bit of news coming up in the future from Jez. He's going to be a guest on the live. All right, so let's start off with, we'll talk ProTee. So the ProTee and the GS Pro connector, I've got to be careful what I say, because with the ProTee, I have got a connection at ProTee who I talk to. He's a really nice guy, and I don't want to say things that I shouldn't be saying, but I have had an email from the guy that I speak to. Really nice guy. I reached out to him and let them know about the issues that a lot of people were having when you use the ProTee with a golf ball that doesn't have any markings. Now, I've talked about this on the channel. I will follow this up with a video showing that the ProTee, if you use a non-marked golf ball, so if you use a Pro V1 golf ball, let me try and find one. I do have one somewhere. Where'd I put it? This one kind of has markings, but if you use a Pro V1 golf ball or any golf ball that has a logo that's worn, or if the unit doesn't pick up on a marking on the golf ball, we're talking about the ProTee. So if the ProTee doesn't see a logo or something on the golf ball to lock onto, it cannot calculate, or it cannot figure out the spin and spin axis correctly. So if you try and hit a massive hook and the unit doesn't see anything on the ball to lock onto, it just sees a white ball, it doesn't dimple track. That's one of the biggest, I guess it is the biggest downfall of the ProTee, which is why a lot of people use things like the TaylorMade Pix ball. So with the Pix ball, you've got markings all over the ball, so you can throw it down, it doesn't matter. If you're someone who doesn't use TaylorMade balls, then you've got to not be careful, but you've got to be aware that the unit does need something to lock onto. So it does need a logo to lock onto. So I sent a video to Dennis and the ProTee team showing them that if you hide the logo from the ball, I actually got a ball that had a logo that was, I'd hit it so much that the logo was worn off. I sent a video to them showing them if the unit doesn't lock onto the logo, it will essentially hit. It's not a dead straight shot. It does have a little bit of curvature. It was generally a fade, but it did have less curvature, a lot less curvature and incorrect curvature. So that is the first update with the ProTee. They basically said to me they weren't aware of this and they said they're working on it. So hopefully we see something in the future. I can release a video and update showing that this issue has been rectified. Fingers crossed. I don't know how they're going to do that, but fingers crossed. The other bit of news is he did share with me that the connector that connects the ProTee to GS Pro, it currently uses Open API, which there's a whole conversation to be going on with Open API, which we'll get into. They are working on a standalone connector, which is absolutely fine because you can change your connector in GS Pro in about 2 seconds. I've put a video on it. Actually, it's I've got multiple launch monitors here, so Foresight, Unicore. I've got the ProTee that currently uses OpenAPI. I've got the Square that uses OpenAPI. You can change your license with the GS Pro license tool in about 5 seconds. But what ProTee are doing is they've talked to GS Pro because they've heard that people can't use these things in money matches because OpenAPI can be hacked. And so they're working actively on making their own standalone connector that's going to be more secure, which is really cool and really good for them to do that. I did also say to Dennis, I said, if you're going to make this connector, can you put some sort of rule in there where if the ProTee doesn't see a logo and it cannot accurately get that spin and spin axis, can you disregard that shot from even going into the GS Pro world? So fingers crossed they can do that. Hopefully they can fix the actual issue. If they can't, hopefully they can add a rule that will just not send those shots into GS Pro. So a standalone connector is coming for the ProTee. When? Good question. GS Pro is insanely busy right now with all the things they're working on. Hopefully, he said it'll be about another week with GS Pro's work, and then they'll get it for some testing, maybe a few weeks after that. So yeah, a month. Put a month timeline on it. Fingers crossed we should have that standalone connector. So that is the ProTee news. A lot of things happening in the ProTee world. I absolutely love the ProTee. I will stick with the ProTee. The overhead for me is just, it's a game changer. That top-down video just gives me so much information. And even though I have the GC3 in my room, I've got the Unicore IM Mini in my room, I just default to the ProTee because it's just reliable. I don't have to worry about alignment. It's already aligned. I've calibrated it. The last time I calibrated it was probably, gonna say, it's at least a month ago. It's just easy and it just works. It's reliable. Yeah, I mean, I use Pix balls exclusively. That's just because I use the TP5X ball. So yeah, ProTee, let me know your thoughts. They are selling a lot more units as well. Right, let's catch up on the chat. That was a lot of talking. Did you see the new beta for Georgia Golf Club? No, I didn't, Herb. I will check that out. Yeah, so there was a post in one of the groups around driver issues with the ProTee. I saw that there was someone who was having like ridiculously low spin, and they hit like a smother hook. I think that's the one I saw. Look, to me, I mean, you've seen my videos. I don't have any issues. Yeah, I'm not sure. Potentially it's a setup issue. Potentially it's just, you know, hey, the launch monitor is accurate and you're actually hitting that shot. I don't know. Maybe it missed the spin. I don't know. What I would do is if I was that guy, I would just try a TaylorMade Pix ball just to see if it solves anything. And then potentially get someone else to hit balls on the launch monitor. I'd try and eliminate things one by one. Dom's in the house. I keep bumping into Dom. I saw Dom at Live, and then I took my son to the driving range the other week, and Dom was there. It's funny. We keep bumping into each other. He's building a sim. He lives here in Adelaide as well. Which key do you hit when you zoom in for your green view? Okay, so that is the J key. So I'll show that behind me now. If I hit J, it'll zoom in. And then the Y key is to get your heat map up. So you can see the heat map popping up right there. If I hit Y, the heat map pops up. So it's the J and the Y key. Once you're in this view, if you use your arrow keys, you can move this around. And then if you hit J again, you will be aiming in that spot. So those are the hotkeys. You can bring up a list of the hotkeys if you go to your settings and then you go shortcuts, or you can also just hit tab and that will bring up that menu and you can just see. So it's called shot cam. That's the J key, and then Y is the heat map. You've also got a bunch of other hotkeys there that you can play with, and that's the tab key to get that up, or you can go into the top right hand corner and hit shortcuts and that'll bring that up. Old mate blaming the tools. Yeah, look, you don't want to. This is the thing. It's so easy to say that, and like, I'm going to say 90% of the time it is. There's some people who do have issues. So I don't like to throw stones unless I actually know. Spike saying he's got the update for Georgia Golf Club downloaded. Yeah, I'll have to get on that. Would the square connector officially be legal in SGT? Yes. So the square connector is the open API. So there's a bunch of launch monitors that use the open API to interface with GS Pro. Now, it's amazing because what that means is any launch monitor can create a connector that speaks to this open API that will then send the data into GS Pro. The downside is you can actually, and I don't know how to do this, I don't know how people do this, but apparently you can hack into the open API connector and you can feed it data to do things like less curvature, more ball speed, all these things that essentially when you hit the ball, it will send a shot into GS Pro and be far better than the actual shot that you hit in your sim room. So this is confirmed as well. So the reason I'm talking about it now is because there has been someone who has confirmed to be cheating in SGT. There's a lot of questions. Let's just jump onto this topic now. So open API. There's a lot of things that, I mean, why is the first question. You're playing sim golf. Why? Like, why cheat? Anyway, there's always going to be people who are going to, you know, exploit certain things. So there's people in real life as well, but you're playing sim golf. So there has been someone confirmed. I'm not going to name any names. I'm not going to name any names, but you'll probably have seen their name pop up on leaderboards and be, you know, at the top of these leaderboards out of nowhere, and then you'll see their name disappear and never to be seen again. They're probably going to just create a new account. So they've been found out. They're probably just going to create a new account and probably do the same thing again. But there has been someone confirmed that is. So I'm guessing there's a lot of suspected people that they've got a list. However, this person was exploiting multiple things, and apparently, according to the people that run SGT, it was very, very obvious that this person was exploiting the system, and the actual system highlighted the issues to the SGT, you know, people that run SGT. So this person was doing a lot of things, and that's why they were confirmed 100% without any doubt. Are there more people doing this? I'm going to say absolutely. Whether they're doing it on purpose or not, I don't know. It's so hard. It's really, really hard. But there are people doing it. So this is the first confirmed. And so that's where Open API, that's why money matches in SGT, I understand now why money matches don't let them use Open API. Absolutely. Because if you can hack, people are going to cheat the system. And it doesn't matter whether you have a video of yourself hitting the shot in your sim room. If you've hacked into the connector, people aren't going to be able to tell. If I swing and hit a golf ball and you see it register as 180 ball speed, I mean, yeah, you're going to believe that. So it's really, really hard to catch people cheating. And so that's why I can understand where the SGT people are coming from when they say, hey, money matches, no Open API, done. In fact, I'm kind of leaning towards Open API with SGT, but the issue then becomes the people who are doing the right thing, the people who just want to play SGT with the square. Why should that not be allowed? Then there's the question of, do you do two different tours? Do you have an Open API tour and do you have the normal tour? There's just so much that goes into it. It's a massive can of worms that has just been split open. And it's just because GS Pro and SGT's just gotten so much bigger. And yeah, it's just, there's a can of worms. There's a massive can of worms. I'd love to know your thoughts in the chat. I think SGT are not, they can't get rid of Open API from SGT because the revenue they generate from having that Open API is huge. I mean, yeah, do they potentially do an Open API tour like we see with the Auto Putt tour? We've got the Tips tour, the Pro tour. Do you then have an Open API tour? I don't know. Massive can of worms. Are there monetary prizes for tournaments? No, SK West. So the tours themselves now, you don't actually get monetary prizes from the tours. There are money matches on SGT and they've banned Open API for those. But Simulator Golf Tour is all about just, you know, bragging rights, I guess. We need a security direct connect to add that level of protection for when next toured. Yeah, I know, and that's it. Yeah, so I think the easy way to fix this now is to just go, if you're going to do some sort of money matches, no Open API. That's the easiest way to do it. But I think if you're going to ban Open API for money matches, fine, but I don't think you can ban Open API for Simulator Golf Tour. Yeah, it would. Open API would be like the Olympics without without the steroid ban. Oh, nice. That's awesome. Yeah, James, that's fantastic. Yes, Scott, he's such a nice guy, and he is becoming an insane designer on GS Pro. There's a couple of designers I recommend. So Scott is obviously the main one. He has been with me on the start of this journey. He helped me build my range. He helped build well, he did build the range. He built the Prestwick Golf Club, which is where we held the inaugural race to Scotland. Amazing courses. I mean, Prestwick is still my top 3 course on GS Pro. Incredible. So Scott is the first designer that I recommend. Judd Shea is another one. He's an amazing designer. His best course, I think, to date is probably the one behind me. I really love this course, but also Pinehurst #2 on his Patreon is insane. And also Greg McDonald. So Greg doesn't do a lot of what's it called, like paid courses. He just designs what he wants. But I think he might be wanting to dip his toes into some paid work. So Greg McDonald is the other one. Yeah, I don't know about like tours are per the launch monitor used. I don't think you could go that far with, you know, hey, you've got a Foresight tour, you've got a Unicore tour, you've got a whatever launch monitor tour. I don't know. I don't think that's the way to do it. There'd just be too many. Like you'd have a Unicore IM Mini tour, you'd have a Foresight GC3. I think if you've got a reputable launch monitor, Foresight, Unicore, ProTee, you know, any of these big name launch monitors, I think then that should be good enough to go right. They can have the tour, you know, a tour. It's just when you have things like, you know, even the Garmin R10, if it didn't capture club data, it would just send a dead straight shot. So with driver, the R10 would miss a lot of the club data. So with your driver, the Garmin R10 would miss club data and it would just send a dead straight shot in the world. So there's even exploitations for even, you know, things like that. I just think you're probably going to have a line in the sand where SGT are going to have to decide which launch monitors are available for the main tour and then potentially have an open API tour or, you know, no holes barred, use whatever launch monitor you want, go for your live tour. That's possibly where I see it going in the future. Or they develop, you know, their software to a point where it can detect anybody hacking into the system. I just don't know. No, not at the moment. So, sorry, I just read this question. Are there launch monitor companies making tournaments that lead to possible access to real tournaments like TrackMan and Live Golf? That is incredible, by the way. I think that's fantastic to see. No, they're not. I think right now, and I've been speaking to Jez, I've been speaking to a few other people about this. Nick's one of them as well. So Nick, I'm talking to him and he's going to launch a tour soon. Tours are going to, I believe that GS Pro is an untapped market for a next gen style tour event or tour series. I do think that GS Pro in the future could have like a next gen type feel or tour. Hopefully it happens, but at the moment, no, there are none. TrackMan's really taken it. They've invested a lot of money, like a lot of money into it. So, okay, Nathan's saying, as someone who, this is interesting, as someone who uses OpenA and was accused of cheating, it's pretty easy to tell when someone is adjusting numbers. My ball speed was 200-ish. 200, man, that is insane, which has raised red flags, but my SA was regularly very high. That is insane. You've tricked, that's insane. You've tricked the system into thinking you're cheating just because you got a high ball speed. Yeah, I agree, Nathan. First off, that is insane ball speed. I'm jealous. But yeah, that's the other thing. If people get accused of cheating when they're not, it's like, it's a can of worms. It's like last week, I finished second in the tour again to, I think his name was Murray, I forget his name, Murray someone. And I'd never seen his name before. And automatically, off the back of all this stuff, I was thinking, hey, is he cheating? When realistically, that's such a bad mindset to have. You never want to accuse someone of cheating when they haven't, because it's just, yeah, it's a can of worms. Yeah, Dom saying no chance I'll be accused of cheating. Yeah, yeah. I think, yeah, it's just such a, we're in a weird place. It's just gotten so big that, yeah. Direct Connect, like you say, for money and big prizes. Yeah, that's what that's, yeah, Direct Connect has to be, and then Open API for general play. And I don't think SGT will ever get rid of Open API just because it's a money, the money factor. The people they would have from Open API using, I'd love to see the numbers. I would love to see the SGT numbers, the breakdown, because I'm sure they've got the stats of people who use Open API, Unicore, Foresight, FlightScope. I'd hazard a guess to say FlightScope is about 1%. I'd say Foresight's probably 10, 15%. Unicore's probably about the same, probably about 20, 25%. And I reckon a massive hit, like 50+% would be Open API. So that I really don't think they'll get rid of OpenAPI. But yeah. So that's the can of worms for OpenAPI. There's lots of things to discuss on that, and we could discuss and debate all day. But yeah, let's move on to Unicore IM Mini. So I've been using the IM Mini again for the past, I'm going to say, week. I've been playing with the IM Mini. Love it. I've got some videos coming out. What I will say though is I did have a misread. I had a misread, and it was at the worst possible time. It is on camera, so I'll show it. I did actually hit 180 ball speed. Let's go. But it was a misread. So 125 club speed apparently and 180 ball speed. So I'll show that off. The shot, it happened at the worst possible time. I'm not going to even tell you guys when it happened. I want it to be a surprise. Worst possible time. Yeah. Murray Norman is Ricky Shirts Golf. Okay, cool. That's good to know, because that's exactly why you don't want to accuse people of cheating. So that's good to know. Thanks, Lockie. I appreciate that. Yeah, so that's the thing with this whole debate. People are always going to jump to, oh, they cheated. And it's like, well, actually, they're probably just a good golfer. There's a lot more people now using GS Pro, and you'll see these names just pop up and start shooting up the world rankings. And it's like, they're just a good golfer that's got into GS Pro. But yeah, misreads, Unicore, I had one, and I really think it was the tee, because like I showed this just before, but these tees that I use, the K2 golf tees, I haven't got the, where's the, I mean, they're all jumbled up. Hang on. This one. So this tee, I've got it right now to where if I put it on the ground, this bit, just because of this, I should have it coming out the top, but when I rest this on the ground, it does stick up a bit. And so I think what's happened is, as I've hit the ball, it's just locked onto, there's a metal connector and there's a new lanyard coming out from Kevin. But I think this metal connector, I have colored it in black with my Sharpie. I think the unit picked up on this metal connector and just sent the ball going. I mean, it was just so unrealistic. But yeah, it would be good if GS Pro, if the connector, maybe there is, I'll have to look, but if you could just discount like horrendous shanks. But then again, people are going to hit horrendous shanks, including myself. So yeah, misread with the IM Mini at the worst possible time. Can you blame the unit? Absolutely. I mean, but yeah, maybe it was the tees. So, but apart from that, the Unicore is just, it's solid now. I love it. The IM Mini is fantastic. I'd love to check out the IM Mini Lite, because I've heard the IM Mini Lite has different hardware to the IM Mini. And so I'd love to get an IM Mini Lite on the channel, because I get so many questions about the IM Mini Lite and I can't really comment on them because I haven't used it. If they use the exact same hardware, I'd be a lot more confident in my replies, but I haven't used it, so I can't really comment on it. I guess that's something to be aware of, is as this channel's gotten bigger, I've become very, not cautious, but I've become more aware that what I say is held with a bit of weight. And so if I start commenting on the IM Mini, the IM Mini Lite, sorry, because I've got the IM Mini, it's not realistic. They're two different launch monitors, so you can't put them, even though they're from the same family, apparently they use different hardware, so I can't put them in the same bag. Yeah, possibly. The merch might be coming, fingers crossed. If it does, that'd be cool. But, I mean, these shirts, if I told you the price for these shirts, no one would buy them. Let's be honest. Okay, let's talk course of the week. It is behind me now. This course wasn't released this week, but I've played it the other day. I've actually played it a few times, and this course is just unbelievable. St. Fisher's Fortress. Now, I could have done the easy option and just said Tobacco Road, because, I mean, let's be honest, Tobacco Road is just insane. But for me, I've been playing this week, and I'm just going to show it off. For people who don't know this course, there is a castle on one of the holes. Which hole is it? I think we'll go for a fly in a sec. But this is from Judge Shea. So St. Fisher's Fortress. Amazing course. I love a links course. I guess that's the spoiler, is I love a links course. So a lot of these courses that I pick are going to be links courses. There's the castle there. I think it's the 17th tee. No, that's... Where are we on the course? That's the driving range. So this hole faces this way, I think. Check that out. I mean, that just looks beautiful, doesn't it? Let's go this way. There's the green. I know there's a hole that hits back towards the, I think it's this hole. Possibly. No, that must go that way. Anyway, amazing course. Definitely go check this course out. I believe this is a Patreon exclusive. So yeah, jump on Judd's Patreon. I always try and support the designers. I think supporting the designers is a massive thing, because without these designers, without supporting them, they wouldn't have the time and effort to make these courses. Look at those rocks. I'm a sucker for the details. Beautiful course. Definitely go check this one out. There's some really good links courses coming to GS Pro now that people need to go play. Definitely go play Tobacco Road though. I played 4 rounds of golf there. I filmed one of them and I got the 3 rounds from the Pro Tour this week. Links courses are fun but very hard. Wild Horse. Yeah. I think it's funny, isn't it? The US courses, the standard US manufactured golf courses, they look beautiful on sim software. And I think they're easy to make look really nice on sim software. Like if we talk about, say, TPC Sawgrass, for instance, amazing course. It's manufactured though, but it looks insanely good on GS Pro because it's manufactured. It's a lot harder, in my opinion, to make a natural course like this links course look amazing on GS Pro. It's just a lot harder to do. So yeah, links courses are amazing. They're just a different type of golf, aren't they? Spike's asking, what is the best budget overhead launch monitor in your opinion? Well, if you look at the price of all of them, the ProTee is just, it's hard to beat. It's like half the price of the Unicore IXO2. It's so hard to beat. The one drawback, and I will do a full in-depth long-term review of the ProTee soon. I've been asked to hold off on that video by ProTee, so I'm giving them a bit of grace. I'm going to give them a bit of time to get, an update out, but I'm going to do a long-term review. And I can tell you right now, the only drawback I have on the ProTee is, well, there's a couple of drawbacks. The big drawback is it doesn't dimple track. That's the biggest drawback, because you've got to be very aware that it needs something to lock onto. The other thing, club data can sometimes be wrong and it just has a misread. And that's because it's using AI to get the club data. So I'd say, 1 in 20 shots, you'll have a funky like dynamic lie angle, which is just not correct. Or, putter, the putter path will be incorrect. And so you do have the odd misread with club data. It's just something to be aware of. But in saying that, you're going to get that with the Unicore as well. The IXO, the IXO was not good at club data. It really depended on where you put the stickers. IXO2 I haven't used with club data, so I can't comment. But yeah, if you're talking about budget for overheads, look, what I will say, got to be careful what I say. I think we're going to see more overhead launch monitors coming soon. I think. Read into that what you will. I know, well, even Brett, I've been talking to Brett, and I'm going to small segue. So Brett and Mike, G&G Golf, if you've seen him on YouTube, Brett makes the homemade launch monitor. I did a video with him where I played a few holes and discussed his launch monitor. That is currently on the way to my house now, that launch monitor. So exciting times. I'll finally have that on the channel. Brett's such a good guy. He works so hard. But that is coming. But I've also talked to him, and he's talked about overheads as well. And if he can create, you know, an overhead launch monitor for a fraction of the cost, I mean, it's a game changer. So more overheads are coming. I'll say that. Next year, I'm going to say at the PGA show next year, potentially, there will 100% be another overhead launch monitor. Even maybe before that. But you got to look at all the data that you get from the ProTee, and you're just like, it's seriously hard to beat. And what we will see as well is more AI club data, 100%. I guarantee that as well. There will be stickerless club data. I think that's potentially going to be PGA show next year, stickerless club data. You've got to think, Foresight, they use the GC Quad. Surely the quad with those 4 stickers, it's just annoying. Like, surely they've got to be working hard at getting stickerless data. You've got to think, because it is annoying putting on stickers on your clubs. I just had to redo my clubs. I've been doing, saying too much, I've been doing club testing, club data testing with this, the Square Golf launch monitor. I got it set up there. I tried to film a video. I spent about 2 hours filming this video. It was a pain with the club stickers, measuring them all, getting it all set. And then the test itself was just diabolical. It was horrendous. There was no consistent theme. I was getting interference. I tried to do it with the ProTee. The square wouldn't lock onto the ball with my driver. It just was horrendous. And so I'm going to scrap that video completely, because there was just so much interference. There were so many things that were just wrong. I was getting wild misreads from both units. And I was just like, this is just, it did not put a conclusion on anything. It created more confusion. I finished the video going, I'm more confused now than I was at the start. I'm not even going to edit that video. It's a waste of time. What I'm going to do is do individual tests with both units for the Square, and I'll do the Square versus the IM Mini and also the ProTee, because the ProTee's got the dynamic loft. So that's coming. I have been trying to do it, but like I said, the test was, I was more confused than when I started. There was no conclusion. There was a couple of common themes. The ProTee was definitely more down on the ball than the Square. And then, what was the other one? The path on the Square was more into out than the ProTee. But with club data, and I'm going to stress this in the video, it really does my head in when people compare club data and they go, oh, the Foresight says this, so therefore that's correct, and this one's wrong. Well, couldn't be further from the truth. Club data is going to be all around where the unit is capturing the data. So, I mean, where on the club face, or where the unit is capturing the data from, and then at what time the unit's capturing the data. So if you compare a TrackMan to a GC Quad, they read the swing path wildly different. The Quad is going to be a lot more into out than the TrackMan. Up to 3 to 4 degrees difference between the two units, but they are consistent with what they report. And that's because the TrackMan is actually taking the readings from the geometric center of the club head at the point of max compression on the golf ball. So completely different point to where the Foresight's taking the data from. The Foresight's taking the data from the moment of impact, and then it's taking it from the club face. So completely different points, completely different times, and that's why the club data is different between the two units. Now, which one's correct? Well, hey, which one do you think's correct? Like, should you be taking club data from the point of impact? Should you be taking it from a different point? They're going to read different, but both be correct in their own worlds. So, and then it opens up a whole nother thing where you go, hey, I'm now taking club data from on the shaft, from this shaft sticker. I'm taking club data from this point now. where the ProTee is taking it. The ProTee actually puts up 4 points on the club face. So the 4 corners, it will put a reference point in the software on the bottom of the heel, the top of the heel, top of the toe, bottom of the toe. It puts up 4 reference points, and then it's actually taking the club data from the sweet spot. So it's completely different. It's like, it's a whole can of worms. And so then you go, they're going to be different. If you look at the Unicore, they use a toe sticker. So they're taking their club data from this sticker. It's going to be different. As long as they're consistent in what they're reporting, you've just got to go, which one do I want to trust? Which one do I want to go with? And just go from there. It's just it's a can of worms. But what I will say is the Square is very consistent. And honestly, the club data I've had, I'll put out a video. It's very good. Yeah, club head speed should be coming out with the Square. I mean, they know the measurement of where it is. So it's 20 centimeters above. So they should be able to put in some sort of algorithm to get the speed. Even if it's only with driver, I think realistically, I don't care what I know what my club head speed is with my irons, but I don't really care. Like, realistically, the only club we care about getting club head speed from is this bad boy, the driver. So, oh, just hit my projector with the driver. So yeah, club data, massive can of worms, massive can of worms. But we will go into it. We'll go into that can of worms, and hopefully we can come out with a bit more knowledge and not be completely confused. Jez is saying ball speed number is the only number. Yeah, ball speed, I agree. I love ball speed. I will always look at ball speed. But to me, if you want to increase ball speed, the quickest way to do that, well, obviously hit it solid. But if you can increase your club head speed and you can have, references and you can check what your club head speed is, you're going to have a bigger engine to then be able to produce more ball speed. So you need a bigger engine, ideally the biggest engine possible, so then the ball speed is has the most potential to be big. It does seem like Square is way too sensitive from other. Yeah, it is. It's very sensitive, but then you got to think this unit. I mean, you look at it, the IR, the actual. I've got it in my Spikes stand. The actual infrared sensors, there's what, how many? 3, there's 9, is there? No, 8. 8 IR sensors in there, and they're not even, like, you can see them there. They're not that big, and so this is going to be very sensitive depending on what type of, like, glass and all the actual tint that they put on the actual screen. It's going to be sensitive, and when you've got something like the Unicore putting IR lighting from a completely, did I say Unicore? The ProTee? When you've got something like a ProTee up there, putting a completely different infrared light onto the golf ball from a completely different angle, this thing it's going to get confused. And likewise, the ProTee, if you've got something sitting from the side, shining all that infrared light from the side, you're going to have interference. And that's where testing launch monitors, I know people love seeing a head-to-head test, and I love doing a head-to-head test. I think there is some validity in doing a head-to-head test, but we have to be very cognizant that interference can and will happen. That's why with this club testing, I'm just going to do individual sets. I think my swing is consistent enough. I should be able to get some sort of baseline for, my angle of attack, my dynamic loft, and club path. I'm thinking I should be able to be pretty consistent with those metrics. If I do a set of, say, 10 shots with 7-iron, 10 shots with driver, 10 shots with a wedge, I should be pretty consistent in my path and all those other metrics to then do a head-to-head, an individual test with the 2 units. And yeah, hopefully that hopefully will answer a few questions with club data and the Square. I do think this thing is pretty accurate at club data because it's very consistent in the data it reports, but it does miss a few shots. And I don't know whether it was missing a few shots because I had the ProTee on or, yeah. Anyway. We will get into all of that. I'll put a video out of, it's just, man, this is why when I compare devices, ball data is just so much easier, because ball data is ball data. The ball is moving that quick through the air. All of them are registering the ball data the same. Ball data should be the exact same, whether it's a TrackMan, a Unicore, a Foresight, a ProTee, a Square. They should all be the same ball data. Obviously, there's going to be variances. Some launch monitors are not going to be as accurate, and that's where we pick up on them and go, hey, that's not accurate. But ball data should be the exact same, whereas club data is going to be very different with all these launch monitors depending on where and how they're capturing the club data. But it's going to be, if it's consistent, then it's correct. You know, it's just the way that they're capturing the data. Can of worms. Absolute can of worms. Have you heard of if clubhead speed is coming to the Square? So clubhead speed, I'm going to send an email to them today, but I believe clubhead speed is something they're working on. Fingers crossed. I mean, I really think, at least with driver, they should be able to do it, because we know this length. And if you know that length, then surely you can add some sort of algorithm to, you know, account for that difference and at least give an estimated club speed. Had an R10 for a couple of years, but the move to Square is such an all-round experience. Best move I've made. Yeah. Yeah. You're in Ireland. That's so cool. Thanks for joining, Greg. Really appreciate it. Yeah, the Square is, I mean, it's really the all-in-one budget king. It's undisputed. I'm going to do a video on the Rhapsody MLM2 Pro versus Square. Which one should you buy? That video will be coming. But to me, I mean, spoiler, it's what do you want to use the unit for? Do you want to use it outside as well as inside, or do you just want to use it inside? It's good to see so many members in the chat. Joel, we've got Joel, Jez. Who are the other members? I've seen a few members, those badges. I really appreciate the support through the membership. I can't stress that enough. All right. But then you have a full swing to mix it up. You talking about the full swing kit? Why is VLA on putting so important? Well, that's a good question. Indoors doesn't matter at all because they disregard it. Outdoors, VLA is huge because the vertical launch angle of your putts. So let's go into this real quick. So outdoors, vertical launch angle is going to be huge because it's how the actual ball is going to launch off the putter face. Now, if you're on greens that are really slow, then you're going to want more vertical launch angle to lift the ball out of the actual depression that it's sitting in. So you want more vertical launch angle to get it out. If you're on really quick greens and really, you know, rolled greens that are rolling pure, you don't want a lot of vertical launch. So vertical launch on really quick greens that are rolling quick, you want about a degree of launch. On slow greens that are really furry, you probably want more in the range of 2, maybe even a little bit more, depending on how bad the greens are. Vertical launch is important, and how it launches as well. So not only vertical launch, but also how it launches. Is it going to launch the ball and create more backspin, or is it going to launch the ball and get it rolling forward? So the more vertical launch you have, the more open you are to backspin and also influence of skid. So skid and roll is a huge thing in putting. If you hit a putt on a moist green, or like in the morning, good word, moist. If you hit a putt on a green in the morning that has dew on it, you're going to be able to see how much skid you have on your ball before it starts rolling. So with putter fitting, it's very important to get a lot of things correct, but vertical launch angle is very important because you want the ball to, you have to get the ball to launch up. If you don't, it's going to actually bobble and it's going to bounce into the ground and then bounce up, and it's going to be a nightmare. So you do want an element of vertical launch, but it's about getting the correct vertical launch for the surface that you play on And then there's a balance there. There's a balance because not everyone's going to play on the same greens every time. But it's about optimizing your vertical launch for the surface you play on and also optimizing it to try and minimize the amount of skid that you have on the golf ball before it starts rolling. So vertical launch is huge. And it can't be overstated. Now, different putters, so loft is one influence on vertical launch, but you've also got dynamic loft, how the person presents the putter. Do they actually, you know, add more loft? So static loft versus dynamic loft as well in putting is huge. And then also putter design. So with this putter, the DF3, it's got a lot of mass behind the actual face. And so what this mass, just like a driver, more mass behind the actual face is going to actually influence. It's going to want the club head to add a bit more dynamic loft through the putt. Whereas you get something like an old school, like Tiger Woods Newport 2, that the traditional design, there's not a lot of mass behind the club head, behind the club face, I should say. And so that putter, you probably will have more static loft on that putter because it's going to add less launch to the actual ball because of the design. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it. I really have got into putting the last year and more into how it all works. And yeah, I really enjoy it. I could talk about it for a long time. Top 3 courses on GS Pro. Man, that is a tough question to ask, to answer, sorry. That is a very, very tough question. I'm going to do another top 10 video. I just don't have time. Time is the biggest killer for me, but top 3 courses on GS Pro, that is a tough one. That is a tough one. Could make for a good video and a good talking point, I guess. Mike, good to see you got to the chat, mate. Can you hit a draw that turns into a fade? Can you hit a draw that turns into a fade? Yes, if you use a golf ball that has no dimples on it. You know, when you go to the range and you hit those golf balls that are so worn out that it's just like a smooth golf ball, those have a funky flight. You can see them going crazy. So Tech Outsider, I have done a video with shot shaping. It's a member video. So a lot of my member videos, the videos that you get through the member section, they are more like, not coaching, but they're more game improvement or game awareness type videos. So I talk about the setup, I talk about the grip, I talk about how to hit a fade, how to hit a hook. I do all those kind of videos on my membership portion of my channel. So I try and keep those two separate. So yeah, I talk about a lot of things, dispersion circles. I talk about the club face and the influence that, you know, strike point has on gear effect of the golf ball and things like that. So if you're interested in that stuff, definitely check out the membership. You can sign up for a month and then end it if you want. But it's yeah, that's on the membership. If you email Jin, ask him how far the putts pick, just impact or tracking. I get a bounce sometimes when my ball in the sim using square. Okay, that's, yeah, it's, I do find it interesting how far units register the golf ball. I talked about this with the R50 because, and this is where I use the IM Mini and I've used the ProTee, I use the GC3, I use the square, I hit all these parts, even I use the Nova, I hit all these parts and they take off pretty close to zero for the HLA. Within a degree, which is ideally I want to be within half a degree horizontal launch, but within a degree, let's say my whole round, I will always be within a degree left or right of launch. Famous last words. With the R50, it seemed to just read left and right. And even after the update, it was a lot better, but I was still getting that. And it just made me wonder, how far is the unit tracking the ball before it takes its measurements to then go, hey, it's left or right? I don't know. It's really interesting. Out of curiosity, do you feel your putting on course has improved since you got the lab? Mike, absolutely. 100%, absolutely. It has improved outside. I'm so much more aware of my stroke. And to me, the putting stroke is like the full swing. It requires attention. You work on your golf swing and you work on moves in your golf swing. You need to look at your putting stroke like the same way. You're going to go through purple patches where you make everything with your putter, and then you're going to fall off the planet and make nothing. And for me, I've got a few things that I try and do with my putting practice that keeps me on the rails. And I haven't been able to do this recently, but mirror work. I do a lot of mirror work to make sure my setup's correct, my eyes are over the ball. I do a lot of drills on my stroke, making sure that, you know, I'm not taking it too far outside or inside. At the moment, I'm taking it a bit too far inside. So I've got back on the mirror. I've got back on my drills to try and get my putting stroke back online. But yeah, there's certain things with putting that you need to do to stay on top of your stroke. You're not just, I mean, there's very few people that are just going to be good putters. You do get them, but they're few and far between. For me, you have to be working on your stroke and you have to understand, you know, your stroke and why you do things. Yeah, BMAC, how good does Tobacco Road look? I mean, it just looks mental. So St. Fisher's Fortress, go play that if you haven't played it. It is in St. Andrews. It's not the old course, but there's a castle on it. Google St. Andrews Castle. You'll be happy. Let's go practice. Let's go. Actually, I think, oh, there it is. Forbatten. Let's just go check out this course. Jez, can you do top 10 practice areas? There are actually so many practice areas on GS Pro now. I've got to do a top 10 games on GS Pro because Spike just joined. That is awesome. Thanks, Spike. Really good to see. I've got to add your name. I've got to update the names on the start of my videos for the members. There are so many games now on GS Pro, but they're just hidden. They're hidden on ranges. Like if you go to Central Park and you go to the driving range there are a lot of games that you can play. Like I'll pull it up in a minute. I was playing it with my boy the other day. There's so many games you can play, like tic-tac-toe. There's blackjack and things like that. It's pretty cool. Right. I've got to show this off. This is mad. Check out this course, Tobacco Road. I mean, this is the Forbatten charity event course. That's why you can see the signs. Definitely go donate to this foundation. I did a video last week where I played live. Definitely go check out the foundation. Let's go for a bit of a, let's hit F5. Let's go for a bit of a fly. I just want you to see the details that C Sim Golf has done on this course. I mean, check out these bunkers. Just absolutely wild. I was looking at this course the other day and I was going, the actual trees, oh, I've gone too far. The actual bushes and things, they actually look like they have been planted. Like they look real. Just look at the detail there. They just look like they have been just planted. Like it just looks insane. Yeah, it's the small details. And I know Chris spends so much time with these courses. Let me go to hole, I can't remember what hole it was. I hit in a bunker and I had this shot that was just, it might have been the fourth. No, it wasn't the fourth. Let me just find this hole real quick before we sign off. 11th, yeah, this hole. All right, check this out. I hit in this bunker the other day and oh, what am I doing? F5, free flight mode. All right, I hit in this bunker the other day and you should have seen the shot that I had to this pin. Check this out. I was in this bunker and I had a shot to this flag and I was just like, man, like how do you hit this shot? It's just crazy. Let's go drop a ball in there. I haven't hit a shot today, but just check this out. I mean, it's just madness. Oh, Chris, thank you for joining, Chris. Good to see. Hopefully you enjoy the member videos. I really appreciate that. It's good to see a couple of new members today. Let me hit a shot from this. It's just madness. All right. What launch monitor? I think I got the ProTee going. Do I actually have a launch monitor connected? Yes, I think the ProTee's connected. This is just wild. Look at the little stairs. I mean, it looks like just looks so realistic. It's just incredible. All right, let's try and get this out. Oh man, first swing of the day. No, go. Such a hard shot. Just such a hard shot. Sit. I mean, yeah. Oh, we got a backstop though. That's not that bad, is it? Now that I know about that backstop, I should have used that in my tournament round. Let's go one more. Go. Oh, here we go. That's a golf shot. We'll end on that one. Oh, some of the bunker shots around this course. There's actually a worse one as well. I'll try and find it real quick. We just got another member as well. Who's that? Let me scroll up. Greg. Thanks for joining, Greg. I hope you enjoy the videos. I try and get them out when I can. I need to, I've got a couple of videos I want to do for members. One of them is putter shaft videos. So yes, I use the lab that has a graphite shaft in it, but I want to actually talk about just normal putters, and I want to talk about drivers as well, and also the this big fat grip I got on this driver at the moment. Let me catch up with these comments. Yeah, CE Sim Golf is just crazy, isn't he? Okay, here we go. Chris, we got a couple of minutes left, but I'm going to answer these questions because you remember. If you had the choice between the iMini and GC3S, which is the new version, yep, you've got your subs, what would you choose? Is the Mini close enough to the GC3S now with the updates they've done? Absolutely. 100%. I can vouch for the iMini. I love it. It is incredible. I did have a misread the other day that I haven't seen for like a long time, and it was once. I had one misread. So would the GC3 have misread it as well? I don't know, probably not, but I did have a misread with the iMini. I 100% trust the iMini now. The data is incredible. Also, the Unicore software is fantastic. You get your shot vision. You can hook up performance optics, so you can have your balance plate. You can have the cameras. Incredible. The iMini is performing. This is the unit that I wanted from launch. It's taken a lot of hard work. Man, the amount of testing I did for them and things that I highlighted, issues with it, it's been a long journey. I'm happy to say that iMini is now there. I can recommend the iMini. To me, if you've got an unlimited budget, if money is zero option, if money is not a worry, the GC3S is fantastic. Foresight is known as the gold standard for a reason, but you're going to be paying those heavy subscription fees. It's a lot of money. To me, I'd check out the iMini. It's a fantastic device, and also you can do a lot of things with the software. Like you can actually send videos and things to your coach, and it will make a whole web interface for them. So your coach, that you can do online coaching, they can look at your swing and your data on every single shot. So it's fantastic. The software is incredible. There's so many extra features you get and an ecosystem you get with the iMini that's just pretty incredible. But at the end of the day, it's going to be your decision. GC3 is amazing. It's incredible. But I think now we're starting to see launch monitors get just as good at the data, but then they're also offering more. So it's going to be interesting to see what Foresight does with the GC3. It's going to be interesting. I think they at least need to do like some sort of swing vision, like some sort of impact vision. Jez, what's Spike saying? Yeah, yeah, that's it. As even like my body's starting to break down as well. Okay, that is 10 o'clock. What have I missed? Have I missed anything? We've done course of the week, talked about the IM Mini, talked about Open API. That is an ongoing discussion that I think is only going to get more and more prominent. We talked about the ProTee VX. So yeah, lots of chat. Let me try and quickly find this hole. I can't remember. I hit in this bunker on one of the holes, and man, it was just diabolical. It wasn't that hole. Oh, it might have been this hole. Let me quickly, before I sign off, show you this. Let me just actually, let's just, yeah, this was it. This was it. Check that out. Let me give you this view. Just look at that. I hit it in this bunker. And this is on the upslope. I'm not even in the middle of the bunker yet. I mean, look at that. It's impossible. That is just madness. What do you do? Let's try and hit one shot quickly out of here. 29, up 6. You've just got no hope. I mean, we do have a backstop though, so we can try and hit it a bit long. It's just a mega flop. This is where you need ceiling protection. 29, up 6, so try and hit it like 40 something yards. Go! And that's what you can do. Trying to get too cute. That should be good. Oh, what a shot. Crazy. You just don't want to be in those bunkers. All right, guys, that is going to be it. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for the members who have signed up. I really appreciate it. Let me know as well, members. I've got to do some sort of member poll. Let me know what you want to see. I know Jez is saying course management. I kind of touched on course management a little bit in my previous video, but yeah, maybe that's going to be something. Thanks for people for joining. Joel's saying I'd never get out of that bunker. It's ridiculous, isn't it? You've just got to aim way left and not hit it in here. Thanks for that, Chris. Yeah, hopefully, see how you go, mate. Honestly, the IM Mini for me now is just, it's fantastic. I'm using it more and more. The ProTee for me is a default. It's easy. It's on the roof. It's out of the way. The IM Mini is a fantastic unit. I can 100% vouch for that. Again, I don't get anything for talking and saying, giving advice for which launch monitor people should upgrade to. I just think if I was buying it, I'd look at costs, see which one, you know, what you're going to outlay, and then look at the ongoing subscriptions, look at what you get from them, and just go, hey, pros and cons. The IM Mini is insanely accurate now. Yeah. I can't talk about the IM Mini Lite, Chris. I'd love to be able to give you some advice on that, but I've never used it, so I need to stay in my lane until I've done a full review and had the IM Mini Lite for like, you know, 2 weeks and really got to know it. Then I can start commenting on the Lite. Oh, Spike, you're a legend, mate. Thank you. I've got a couple of things to pick up. Spike, if it's the thing that you showed me the other day, that would be insane. I've got a spot for it just there. That'd be insane. All right, guys, that is going to be it for this one. Thank you to the 3 new members. I really appreciate it. I'll be reaching out to the members, probably the Discord. I'm going to have to do it in the Discord. I need to add people to the member Discord chat, and we need to start having discussions, and I need to get some feedback on what you guys want to see. What do you want me to talk about? I can talk about whatever you want. Let me know. That's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, let me know. Any comments or questions, leave them down below, and I will catch you guys in the next